All right, I hope you don't feel cheated by the length of today's lesson. Meaning, I think it's going to be short. It's just the one page. Let's see, the identity for sine of a plus b. That would be sine of a cosine b plus cosine a sine b. Hopefully you have that memorized. If not, hope you memorize it soon. So how could we use that to help us find the sine of 2x? Is there another way I could write? I could write x plus x. And then I can use a sum identity, and x is a and x is b, so I don't really, it's not a matter of getting them confused, that both angles are x. So let's see, sine of x, cosine of x, plus cosine of x, sine of x. Well, the order doesn't matter in multiplication, so that's 2 sine x cosine x. So there's one of our equations today. And that's another one where it's like, well, do you memorize that one? Or do you remember how to get it and it doesn't take long to come up with it? I don't know, it's up to you. You definitely got to memorize those sum formulas. After that, memorize or not, up to you. Why don't you do the same thing for cosine? So you know the cosine is, you know what, I'm going to hit pause. So there's the formula for the sum of cosines. Remember, it's got a minus in there. I can rewrite 2x as x plus x, and then I can use my formula. Cosine x, minus sine x, cosine squared minus sine squared. So sine of 2x is 2 sine x cosine x. Cosine of 2x is cosine squared x minus sine squared x. Put those where you can see them. Again, do you memorize those, or do you memorize the addition ones and just come up with those when you need them, because it's a pretty easy derivation to get there? I don't know. It's up to you. So it's a sort of a 1 star. You got to know it, but memorize versus use them, I don't know. And always with tangent, yes, there's a tangent formula, but why use the formula or memorize a formula when you can just do sine over cosine? Okay, example. Example 1 and only. Yep. Given that the sine is negative 3/5 and x is between 3 pi over 2 and 2 pi, what do you think we should do with this information? Draw it. And if you're kind of thinking ahead, you can sort of only draw one quadrant because it's between 3 pi over 2 and 2 pi. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So my missing side is 4. Sine of 2x is 2 sine x cosine x. So I didn't label it, but I guess that's okay because there was only one. I'm big on labeling it if it's alpha and beta, or u and v, or a and b, so you don't get them mixed up. But this one, there's only one of them, so that's angle x. Sine of x is negative 3/5. Cosine of x is 4/5. So, hey, where does the 2 get multiplied to? The top or the bottom or both?
Top.
Good. Just make sure you're paying attention. Because if I had a nickel for every time one of my students, especially if it's written like this, they're like, oh, look at that, that's a big 2. It must go to the top and the, I don't know what they're thinking.
Well, then you could just write it as 2 over 1.
If that helps, yes, do that. Negative 24 over 25. Cosine of 2x is cosine squared minus sine squared. Okay, be careful. Remember, that means you square the cosine and square the sine. Cosine is 4/5. Sine is negative 3/5. Of course, the negative is going to be wiped out by the squaring it. 16/25 minus 9/25 is 7/25. And it's nice when we ask all three, because then when you get the tangent, you're like, oh, tangent's just sine over cosine. So I've already found what I need. Negative 24/25 over 7/25. Keep it, change it, flip it if you need to. Hopefully you can just recognize that those denominators we cancel, and I get negative 24/7. I told you might feel cheated today. Go home and tell your parents they didn't get their money's worth today. Well, then I gave you 6 minutes of notes. Today's assignment's worksheet 3, and just to put it on video here, so due Friday will be worksheets 1 through 3A. Yeah, because the second part of 3 is the first part of 4, and so you can't turn that in. Too bad.